I'm Paul Banasik. My fight name was Reaper. I had over 60 fights. I am now a pro coach. I'm the coach now at Powerhouse Phuket, and I work with the pro fighters here. They are part of the pro fight team.
How many fights do you think you've had, all in all, from amateur and pro?
From amateur and pro, I've had over 60 fights.
60.
That's not including boxing, and then there's been a few smokers when I first started as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 60 plus, yeah?
Yeah.
Easily. You were born in Poland and then raised stateside. What did your upbringing in both places shape your approach to Muay Thai and business?
When it comes to growing up in Poland, I think I was able to take away a lot of things. Growing up in Eastern Europe, we kind of have a different philosophy on life, and I think then coming over to the States gave me another perspective, and I was able to kind of mold the two, you know. I do believe that we work really hard, that immigrant mentality is a real thing.
Yeah.
And my mother, being a single mother raising me before we moved to the States, really helped for me she shaped me to be a strong man. Because she was a very strong woman. So was my grandmother, my great-grandmother, those that went through World War II, that were in those camps, and the character that they passed down, I think still ran in my blood as well.
Yeah.
So hard work was never something that I really had to look after. I felt like it was always in me. It wasn't really something that a coach or anyone else would have to get out of me.
Yeah.
But then coming to America, I feel like a lot of the approach is about efficiency. I think a lot of the approach is about working smart as well. So the combination of the two was a good perspective to have, to be able to mold both. Because a lot of people, including my father, my stepfather, you know, they would work 60 hours in the factory and have those blue collar jobs, and seeing how hard they have to work for them definitely inspired me to work hard, but it definitely also helped me to shape and inspired me to try to have a better future for myself and my family as well.
Was your family, and I guess is your family still super supportive of what you do? Like, was it ever like, oh, it's the phase, like just get through another fight?
No, my parents were not supportive of what I do at all.
Yeah.
When I first started, imagine bringing your kid over to America for better opportunity.
And you want to fight.
Bringing him through school, through college. I did feel like the American education system was much easier than it was in Europe. And because of that, I felt like I was able to get ahead and then get good grades. I graduated with honors in high school. I graduated with high honors in college as well. And the day I graduated, I moved to Thailand. I had to prove it. I had to prove it to my family. I wanted to show my family that if I ever need to go back and I need to fall back on my education or have to get a quote-unquote real job, I can do so.
Yeah.
You've seen that I'm quite intelligent and I can do this. So let me chase my dream. Let me take a risk. And if it doesn't work out, I always have this to fall back on. Yeah.
When did they realize that you're not only yourself? So when did you realize that you could take your Muay Thai to the highest level? And then when do you think that your family like kind of realized that for yourself?
I realized I wanted to get serious about Muay Thai and fighting overall when I fought at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I fought at Bally's Casino for my first full rules Muay Thai fight. And that night, there was quite a few guys that ended up having big names throughout the years. So there was a guy named Elijah that ended up fighting down the road. There was a guy named Cyrus Washington, who was a very popular American fighter. And then he fought in Lethwei, he fought in Muay Thai, he fought on Thai Fight, he fought Leduc a couple of times. A lot of guys that helped to shape American Muay Thai were on that show. and a lot of the ones I looked up to were on that show. So I was just on the undercard as an amateur, having my first full rules Muay Thai fight, seeing these guys in the back, one of which was a fighter from the Netherlands. He was an undefeated 10-0 fighter, and the way he was just ripping the pads, those explosive Dutch-style combinations, I looked at my coach, I go, oh man, I just want to look like that one day.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
I want to hit the pads, I want to look like that one day.
Yeah.
And 1 year later, you know, I put it out in the universe.
That's right.
And my coach told me that there's an opportunity. He goes, do you want to fight at MSG? I go, of course, no hesitation. He goes, there's a catch. I go, what's the catch? The catch is, remember that guy that you wanted to look like a year ago? That was in the back smashing pads? I go, yeah. I go, that's who you're gonna fight. I go, okay. I just wanted the opportunity.
Yeah.
But I ended up head kicking him in the second round, putting him down, hurting him a few more times throughout the fight. And I think the second that head kick connected, in that sold out crowd at MSG Theater, something clicked in my head, and it made me believe.
Yeah.
You know, it made me believe in myself and think, wow, maybe this is something I can do.
Yeah.
And I think what added to is being in that venue and feeling the energy in that type of venue before you even go out there to fight. I think there's something special about it. I've never had a feeling like that in my entire life. But that convinced me. To convince my family took quite a while longer. I think it was when I ended up being on the national team. I went 10-0 in 2015. I went to the Worlds, I won. And then I returned to MSG. The 10th fight that year to go 10-0 was against the #1 guy in the US at the time as amateurs. It was a guy named Gaius Ebrat from 5 Points Muay Thai in New York City. They're a very good academy. He was a firefighter, so they had a fight night where they had an undercard of NYPD versus the firefighters, and then they had a real fight night, and we were the main event of that.
That's
and
awesome.
when I won that fight, I think that's where like things really turned around with both my family taking it more seriously, that they knew that this is what I'm going to do, that I'm taking it seriously, I'm dedicated, and also just to the remainder of the community. And it was my first step towards turning pro.
It's awesome. It's interesting, most fighters just focus on fighting, but you've always thought like 5 steps ahead with your branding and you know, your tutorials and stuff that I watched from a young age. Where did that business mindset come from? Do you think that it's the immigrant grind?
No. When it comes to business, I'm actually not interested in business at all. I don't like these events that people call networking, all these networking opportunities, or talking to people in order to get something from them, and kind of doing that whole thing is not something I'm very comfortable with. Again, part of growing up with that immigrant mentality is like we really speak how we feel. It's really hard to fake it. It's hard to look excited when you're not excited. That's what I always saw in my family members, that they were always very honest with you. If you put on weight, if you were a disappointment, it was said out loud and was said very clear. And it was noted, and you were expected to do better. So I've always had a hard time faking it and making those networking connections. The branding came about because I used to skateboard and snowboard and do videos for everyone in my town and my city. And I had a big passion for videography. And when I was growing up, I was taking videography classes in school, but my parents said, this is not a stable job, it's not a stable income, you should go into medicine, therapy, things like that have stable jobs with good benefits. And so I never actually ended up pursuing it, though I did it as a hobby. So whenever I was skateboarding, I was making videos, I was slinging DVDs in high school and in middle school. But it wasn't even to make money, though I did. It was out of passion. So then when I moved over to Muay Thai, I was logging everything from the beginning, and this is during a time that it was almost taboo to do tutorials, to do YouTube videos, unless you were a world champion.
Yeah.
And there were almost none that were really doing it.
Yeah.
So
You were
I
one
was
of the
just kind of
first.
logging the journey. There was a couple people, and I was just logging my journey. I wasn't really watching anyone else. And I was just continuing to do what I was doing in skateboarding. And it was just a natural transition.
Nice.
When it came to starting my blog, my website, and everything like that, yeah, I didn't do it with any type of goal in mind. And honestly, fighting was the same way. When I got in the gym, I was fighting in the backyard. And after fighting with 3 or 4 guys after school, one day I got my face smashed in, and I asked the guy where he learned to do that, what he just did to me, because the other 3 were kind of easy matchups, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And when he brought me to the gym, I just went in there to be able to kind of defend myself and to learn how to protect myself. Yeah, if someone were to do that to me.
Yeah.
So it was never meant to be something that I'd be doing now, 15 years later.
Yeah. Do you ever look back on that and like just the long journey? And does
Yeah,
it
I'm so
trip
great.
you
I'm
up?
so grateful for it because
Yeah.
let's say I never ran into. His name was Risby. He was like my black twin,
Yeah.
and my brother from another mother.
Okay.
We're both 6'4".
Yeah.
We're both fighting in the same weight class. We both started off 5-0 together. It was quite a journey. So if I never met him, if we never had that scrap in the backyard, and I never got my ass handed to me and never asked him where he learned to do that, then none of this would have happened.
It's crazy. Where did the name The Reaper come from?
Name Reaper came from my first trainer, Matt McCusker. He has a gym now down in Florida. It's a Sit Tong affiliate. He was teaching out of his garage. My friend said, "Hey, let's go to the gym." We end up at some guy's house, and I go, "Where's the gym?" He goes, "Well,
Right
in
there.
that garage right there." I go, "Okay." There were 12 people inside of a single car garage. And my first 6 weeks of training were sparring, just shark tanks and sparring. But one thing that was taught right away was to knee, and not to knee up, but to knee through the opponent, to take their soul, yeah? And in my first 6 fights, 5 of those fights were finished with knees to solar plexus. So he always taught us to aim for the solar plex, to aim for the chest, where there's no, essentially no muscular
Armor.
protection, there's no armor.
Yeah.
So I kind of took that to heart right away. And out of those first 6 fights, 5 of them were finishes with the knee. And that's where it came from, taking their soul.
That's awesome.
The Reaper
That's
takes
awesome.
your soul. Yeah.
See, I didn't know this. Now I do. So with Card Chuck, Flying Fight, Glory, and then the one championship contract that was offered, what goes into choosing the right opportunity, and what do young fighters get often wrong about promotions, whether it be stadiums out here or from what you hear and see like in the States and Western countries?
I think it's very simple, and I think people complicate it. I think you fight locally as much as you can.
Yeah.
Once you can compete with the top guys locally, I'm not saying you have to win every single fight, but if you can compete with the top guys locally, let's say in your region, you're in the New England region, maybe you start at some of the small local shows, go in the basketball court and get experience. You can smooth out some of your game, maybe get some of the nerves out, so you can actually implement some of the tactics that you train in the gym. Then once you do that, then you can fight more regional. Let's say you go to New York City, you go on some of the bigger promotions like Warriors Cup. We used to have Friday night fights, but there are several promotions now. We have Freedom as well. Whatever the promotion is locally that people know about. And then once you're able to compete at that amateur level of like 5 to 10, and you're doing tournaments, you're getting as much experience as possible, and you can compete with the top guys, then that's when you move to the next level. I think a lot of guys, they fight very low level competition, they go 5-0 and they go, oh, it's time to go pro. I smash everyone already. But they never really got tested. And then once you make that move to pro and you were never tested, the second that you do get tested, it's very difficult to kind of go backwards and work your way back up.
Yeah.
I would say that you want to test yourself at every step of the way. That doesn't mean that you fight someone way out of your league. Some guys come here, they have 2 fights at Bangla, then they go on Thai Fight to fight Sanchai for the opportunity.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying to do something like that.
Yeah.
But after, let's say you have 3 fights where the challenge wasn't that high, you never really got in a fight, you didn't have much resistance, try to find a fight that will give you some resistance where you have to problem solve. Yeah, but a fight that may be winnable. Yeah. Then you work up from there. Like when I went pro, I try to really run out of all opportunities. If you're in the US, there are not a lot of pro opportunities. So unless you do plan on moving to Thailand and doing the circuit, then you definitely want to take your time. You want to make sure that you're one of the best amateurs in the entire country before moving on to lower level pro fights. And then also don't rush your way into big promotions like one championship or anything like that. Just like it'll come, and when you get there, you know that if you're a star after 2 fights, you're gonna get launched to the top. It's not incremental progress. Like once you go 2-3-0, you have impressive wins. They're gonna skyrocket you, and you better be ready to compete. Because the second you miss the opportunity, you go up top, you get to the top, you lose a fight for the title, very unlikely you'll ever see it again.
Right. What was one of your favorite fights of your career, and it not just performance, but like what it meant to you personally?
My favorite and best fight is not the one that had the most views or that people love the most. To me, it was my WBC title fight back in New York City, because I went back to where it all began. I came up fighting in New York City. I had all my major fights there, between Glory at Madison Square Garden, between fighting at MSG as an amateur, fighting on Friday Night Fights as an amateur, coming up, and then having to go back there and to fight for the WBC title against someone that used to commentate my fights, and when I was an amateur and he was a professional, like he was the guy in the area.
So he saw you come up too.
So him seeing me come up, me seeing him as the guy at the time. Then having to go back and face the champion and just show all the years of hard work here in Thailand. You know, coming back home and having that welcome back party with everyone and putting on the performance I did. I feel like I really showed my full skill set on top of it. I've never been more focused, never more dialed in and healthy. That was the main thing. Is you got to see how I can perform when I'm fully healthy. Because that was the last fight that I also was fully healthy before the end of my career. So that's why it was just the cumulative effect that it had of the amount of training that I did all these years in Thailand, being healthy, and then just showing what I'm capable of. I felt like it was a very technical masterclass in a way that combined, that showed my skills, but also a finish. So it was exciting as well. And a lot of the other fights that people really like are the ones like you mentioned, like the Chuek fight on Thai Fight, the ones that are bloody and gritty. People love those.
Can you talk about that?
I don't like those as much.
Can you talk about that and like the difference between like your knuckle placement, for example, or like even just the nerves going in? Does it feel like more natural fighting someone without gloves, or did it feel more uncomfortable?
I quite like the Chuek because it feels so natural, and because it's formed to your hand. The ropes are formed to your hand, so it's almost like you're creating a custom cast around your hand. Sure, it cuts you up a lot more. Hence all the cuts I had on any type of scar tissue I have on my face is from the one fight. In my 60-something fights, I had one small cut. And in that fight, I had 27 stitches from 4 separate cuts.
Holy shit.
So I took more damage in that one than I did in 60-something fights, and it was just, I've seen it before because I was at Thai Fight Live many times where you see the rope is just coarse. So when it twists and the knuckle rotates, it cuts the skin quite easily. And in that fight, I had to face a lot of adversity, one of which is that there was 0 training because it was during COVID. So I wasn't able to train for the fight. I had to cut 11 kilos. I had a shin infection, full blown.
Holy shit.
And the travel was quite awkward because it was during COVID. So
Yeah.
they kept you isolated.
Yeah,
It looked like we were part of Resident Evil, where they're taking samples from you in
Yeah.
hazmat suits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was a weird experience, but it was one we had to dog out. And I remember seeing on Facebook it was peaking at like 1 million views
Holy
during
shit.
our fight. And
That's awesome.
when we walked backstage, we're the only fight to just get a standing ovation
Yeah.
from all the fighters, because the only people there watching were the fighters and the staff.
Yeah.
So we just beat the living shit out of each other in front of no one. It was just
In front of no
just
one.
me, another guy, and then in our corners. There was no one else in the stadium.
That's awesome. Ah, that's awesome. What was the? You said the fight in MSG going back. That was a big one for you. For boxing and the card chuck, what was your favorites for you for your boxing career and then the card chuck?
Well, Karchik, I only had that one.
You just had that
fight,
one?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of the right? Was Jack wearing a mask in the corner talking to you?
That
Did
was
they
the
have to?
Karchik,
Yeah?
yeah.
Have to wear the big old cover.
Yeah. He had the blood squirt onto it. I have a photo somewhere. He has the face shield. So idiotic. It didn't stop COVID, but it did stop the cut from squirting straight into his eye. 'Cause he has the face shield, and there's just a line of blood running down it while he's trying to clean me up.
Do you miss those fights? Like,
I don't miss those fights at all. That was one that I came back home and I sat in the shower trying not to get any type of infection and all that. I was thinking like, why the fuck do I do this? It was just a hard time because it was during COVID. I had 7 cancellations in a row, but I was training full time regardless. And then the month that we took off because everything shut down, we thought to ourselves, there's just no way there's going to be any type of fight.
yeah.
But they pulled some strings and they made an event happen and called us on a few days' notice, and they made it happen. So you gotta, especially in Muay Thai, a lot of times you gotta eat shit sometimes, and you gotta take what you can get. Because at the time I couldn't get any fights. It was frustrating because I fought 13 times in 13 months. And the last fight, I flew back from Cambodia. 2 days later, that's when the whole country shut down. And that's when it was just kind of like open, close, and why 7 fights fell through. And a lot of promotions even went under. So there was 2 times I even flew to Bangkok, and nothing ended up coming of it. Because the promotion went under, or we flew to Bangkok and they shut things back down. So after 7, we did 7 full fight camps. And then the one fight that ended up happening was one where there was no training done at all. So, but that's what it is sometimes, you know? Like, people complain about far better circumstances.
Yep.
Yeah, and they blame guys that are brand new to the sport for maybe pulling out of a fight with an injury, things like that. Yet you see professionals at a high level do it over and over and over again. Guys that are admired, and they don't say anything about that. So,
what's one?
We got
unfiltered,
like 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's one unfiltered truth to any young fighter coming up, and what would you tell them that they might not want to hear?
I think you have to welcome all of these. I think you have to welcome every hard part. Know that it is part of the process and there's no way to cheat it.
Yeah.
Everyone looks for shortcuts or different ways of training. And though there are some things that you can kind of change to make as a part of your style, the fundamentals and everything else, and the routine that has worked over the years is something that you do have to do because it is a part of the process and a part of building the fundamentals. And without a base layer of fundamentals, everything else falls apart at a certain level. I think it's a time where so many people are getting into this sport for reasons outside of what the sport is itself. They see the videos, they see the highlights of everyone's journey online, and that's what they look forward to, but they don't look forward to the grind anymore. They don't look forward to the suffering, and you can see it by being in the gym. People trying to pick certain fights, or they're just trying to avoid the process. They're like altogether, they're trying to avoid the process of pain, the process of having to come in when you don't want to come in. And those that welcome it are going to be the ones that come out on top in the end. Yeah, maybe you won't see it today. You see the talented guy not having to work as hard. But I guarantee you 5 years from now, you're never gonna hear about him again. And if you stick to it, then you'll still be there.
Well, thank you so much for your time, man.
Cheers, Scott.